Live from Town Square Towers at the heart of the Jersey Shore. Wake up with Jeremy Grunin. Get up, get out, do something. Join the conversation. 732-505-1160. News Talk Radio WOBM AM 1160 and 1310. Listen online at WOBMAM.com.
Hey, welcome back. Wake up with Jeremy Grunin. 7:08, Friday, October 7th, 52 degrees, getting up to 70 today. WOBM AM 1160 and 1310 News Talk Radio. Streaming live on the Radio Pup app and WOBMAM.com. 732-505-1160 to join the conversation. We are now joined in studio by artist Mary Mehelic.
Hello.
How you doing?
Good.
So why don't you kind of give folks the 50,000-foot overview of what you do, what your art's all about, you know, kind of what's your elevator story?
My elevator story is that my art is about global feminism, education for women, and religious freedom. It takes two different forms, all conceptual, I would say, mixed media artworks on paper. I have been for the past 2 years working on a series about the kidnapped schoolgirls in Nigeria. It's hard to believe they've been missing 2.5 years at this point. That's one body of work I'm working on. And the other body of work is very political, and it incorporates Donald Trump's actual original campaign bus.
Okay. All right. So let's get to that. So I'm trying to. So you're telling me that as someone that that deals with global feminism, you may not necessarily be a Donald Trump fan.
That's correct.
Okay. I was having trouble kind of connecting the dots on that one. I wanted to make sure. So you said. So say it again for me, because I was trying to write, but I'm challenged. Global feminism,
right? Religious freedom,
and
education for women.
Got it. And so what got you? How did you settle on that, or why is that so passionate for you?
Well, when I studied art, I got my MFA from Parsons. I am a very spiritual person, and I grew up in a very Catholic family, going to Catholic schools my whole life. And but I'm not really Catholic in the formal religion sense. I'm much more spiritual. And while I studied at Parsons, I was kind of fascinated by the role the imagination plays in faith. So what's the line between actual faith and imagination? And I look at extremism right now, religious extremism, and I think part of the problem is there's too much imagination and not enough faith in those areas.
Interesting. Okay, interesting. So at what point did you realize that you had a talent for art, or when did that happen? Do you remember when, like, in your maturation process, you said, "This is what I really want to do"?
Later, I drew a little bit in high school, and then when I went to college, I studied English.
Okay.
And then after I graduated, I worked in the advertising business. And then when I was in my late 20s, I started just taking classes at the museum school in Boston, and that gradually evolved. When I was taking classes at the Art Institute of Chicago, one of the teachers looked at me and just said, "Why don't you have an MFA?" And I was like, really? Never crossed my mind. And from there, I went to Parsons, and then I kind of really embraced the artistic life.
So MFA, Master in Fine Arts,
correct.
Is that it? Okay. Sorry, I'm a little slow on some of these things. Okay, so that's interesting though, because we often talk about the arts, and there's always this debate, in schools, should we have more focus on the arts and more focus on that creativity, and we've seen the pendulum swing so far by taking it out of schools and saying there's no time because we need to take more tests and do more math and more science and more English. And the counterpoint always is that by having arts in the schools is that you're fostering that creativity. And we often point to the fact that creative folks don't necessarily end up as artists or end up as actors or actresses or musicians, but they take that creative energy and they go into something like advertising or something like that, because it gives them that ability to take that creativity and parlay it into a different kind of career. So you kind of went the opposite way on that.
Right, I did. I went the business sense, and then I dropped the business sense and went the fine art sense.
So did you have like family and friends going like, wait a second, you're in advertising and now you're going to be an artist?
Well, not really, no, because I was still doing some freelance creative work in the ad business while I was going to art school and still kind of working in it. And the two are so closely connected. I mean, I'm really a conceptual artist, and as a creative director in advertising, you're a conceptual person already.
Right. But with the notable exception that one of them typically has a steady paycheck.
Exactly.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. I mean,
I
understand. I understand that intellectually, it's very close. But real world, paycheck wise, not as close.
Well, not many artists have the luxury of not doing other work, and I, like all the other artists, have to struggle and do what I can, scrap together a living outside of the art world.
Okay, so you are actually you've been at OCC this week, and so what were you doing there?
I was doing an artist residency and working with the students and talking about the kidnapped schoolgirls and Donald Trump's bus a little bit.
All right, and I'm trying to hold on to the Donald Trump's bus thing for a second. So you're talking with art students
and making art
and you have your works are on display in the center there, right?
Yes, throughout the campus.
Okay. And then you're going to Georgian Court?
Correct. The artwork's going to move to Georgian Court in November.
Okay, cool. Oh, so it's going to be on display at OCC through October.
Correct, and then it's going to be on display at Georgian Court in November.
That's great. Okay, now we got to get to it. Okay.
Okay.
So I understand, and that I find it hard for anyone to argue with you about kidnapped schoolgirls.
Correct. It's pretty hard to.
That's a layup, right? I mean, that's pretty much like, yeah, that's a great cause. You're 100% right. That's bad. Okay.
Correct.
So now we're going to go the other way here, because tell us a little bit. Actually, Zach, how much longer do I have before break?
You have 2 minutes.
All right. Can we take a little bit of it? Can we take a break?
We can go early.
So when we come back, right, because this is going to take a little extra time. When we come back, I want you to tell me about the Donald Trump bus.
Yes.
What you did to the Donald Trump bus.
Okay.
What you're doing with the Donald Trump bus.
Okay.
And I want to also learn about the wall. Okay. In Mexico.
Okay.
Because this is fascinating stuff. So Mary Mehelic, artist, and may have a point of view on some things. Back with Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin after this.
Everything you need to know about the Jersey Shore. This is Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin. News Talk Radio, WOBM AM 1160 and 1310.
Welcome back. Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin, 720. Talking to artist Mary Mehelic. So, all right. So here we go. Now, I'm pretty sure that you bought this bus, right?
We did.
Okay. So Donald Trump goes to sell. The Trump campaign is selling an old bus.
Correct.
Right.
They used it in Iowa at the Iowa State Fairs. Trump announced he was running for president on June 22nd, over a year ago. He announced in Iowa, and they leased a bus, and they wrapped it in Trump's brand and logo, and they drove it all over the state of Iowa. Trump's been on the bus a few times. And the company he leased it from supposedly wasn't happy with the way they were getting paid by the Trump campaign.
Nuh-uh.
So they put it up for sale on Craigslist.
Okay. So of course, every politician's nightmare, you guys swoop in and you in a group say, let's buy the bus.
Me and another artist, David Gleason, who's in Philadelphia.
Gotcha. So you guys buy the bus.
Right.
And because you want to perpetuate the positivity of the Trump campaign.
Sure. That's exactly why we bought the bus.
All right. So what do you do with the bus?
So we bought the bus, and that's a good question. What do we do with Donald Trump's bus? Well, we're not all that keen on Donald Trump. So we changed the bus, but we kept the bus all blue with the Trump name.
Right.
Now, the interesting thing is you can't buy something and put Trump's logo and brand on it. It already has to be on it because of trademark and copyright laws. So it was really important the minute we got the bus that we get there right away before any of the Trump stuff might be removed.
Right.
So the minute we bought the bus, we were there we found out about the bus and we owned it in 2 days, and we're in Iowa right there with the bus. So the first thing we did was just kind of fade back some of his original taglines so that you could kind of still read them, but then we altered them. So where it says Trump, it now says T-Rump. So we just added a dot to that everywhere on the bus. Then where it said Make America Great Again, we changed that to Make Fruit Punch Great Again. on one side, and the other side where it says "Make America Great Again," we changed that to say "Women Trump Trump." And then other things were added to the bus as we made our trip across the country, and Trump said different kinds of things. So originally, the fruit punch was our first performance artwork we did, where we let people actually throw fruit punch at the bus. And that's kind of like, no matter who you're voting for, if you don't like Hillary, if you don't like Trump, sometimes you're watching TV and you just want to throw something at the TV. So it's that physical action of just getting out some frustration.
Right. So why fruit punch, though? Did I miss something here?
The fruit punch references Megyn Kelly and his comment to her about blood coming out of her wherever.
Oh, yes. Gotcha.
And now it also references drinking the Kool-Aid, and people are slugging people at the rally. So it's gained some more meaning as time's gone by.
Gotcha. And I'm looking... and you've kind of you've done different things to the bus. For example, there was Jeb's low energy fruit punch.
Right. Well, as we drove the bus across the country and back. Now the bus has 1 million miles on it. It doesn't go faster than 50 miles per hour in 8 miles per hour uphill. I mean, it's slow going. We like to say we own the right lane. We've passed 3 cars in our entire time on the bus.
Wow.
It's by far the slowest thing on the road.
Have you driven in Ocean County? Because I think you could double or triple that number in no time.
Probably.
I'm just saying. Okay.
And so the bus actually has a stripper pole inside of it, which is one of the more interesting things about the inside of the bus.
That was already there?
Yes.
I don't even know what to say with that.
Prior to the Trump campaign leasing the bus, it was used as a party bus for bachelor parties. It's a 1981 bus. So there was a stripper pole in it, which is still in the bus.
So let me get this straight.
That's epic.
Let me get this straight. So here you are, this like major feminist.
Correct.
Right? You own a Donald Trump bus with a stripper pole in the middle of it.
Correct.
Okay. No, I mean, there's no irony to that whatsoever.
None at all.
Right.
No. I mean, the whole thing. And so that's why, as part of the bus, it's like absurdist art. We build on the absurdity of the political campaign this year.
So this has gotten you some publicity, right? You've done okay with this.
Quite a bit, yes.
Yeah, okay. So that was not a bad purchase overall.
No, not at all.
All right, now. So it's one thing to have this bus and to take pictures of it and to drive it around at 8 miles an hour and whatever. But then you start going to rallies.
Correct. We've driven it across the country and we've gone to Trump rallies. We were at the debate a week ago. So we pretty much drive it. We've been to 1 million Walmarts. You know, post offices are great places. We hang out and we talk to people about Donald Trump. Because the bus still, people don't read that much anymore. And when you're driving down the road, people are driving by you. So people aren't noticing that it no longer says "Make America Great Again." They think it's pro-Trump.
Right.
So about every 2 minutes, someone either gives us the finger or gives us the fist pump. And we laugh because they either love or hate Donald Trump. So we would gauge, Trump's popularity as we were driving down the road by this reaction. But another problem is that the bus is getting vandalized at night now because as the campaign, last October, no one thought he was going to last.
Right.
But the longer he's been in it, the more passionate people have become. So over the past few months, like the bus has been spray painted, ketchup, egged, we've been spit upon, keyed, you name it, it's happened to the bus.
And is that coming from pro-Trump or anti-Trump people?
Anti-Trump people that don't take the time to read the bus.
They don't get it.
Right.
Got it.
So what we end up doing is we actually have to disguise the Trump name at night now when we park the bus. So we have a lot of time on the bus to chat at 8 miles per hour. So the other artists and I were brainstorming on ways to disguise the bus. So we're like, well, we could do what was that old car show where they'd hide it behind billboards and in bushes and stuff? Yeah. So we were thinking of doing that, and then we're finally like, no, look at all the ads on the side of trucks. We're going to make fake fruit punch advertisements. So we made these big banners that we bungee cord on the bus over the Trump name at night that are fake fruit punch advertisements based on the fallen GOP candidates. So we have Jeb's low energy fruit punch. That one's exclamation point free and caffeine free.
Nice.
Then we have Ben's sleepy time fruit punch, and that has added melatonin. And then on the back, we have Ted's extra Christian cranberry fruit punch, which is imported from Canada.
Unbelievable. Okay. So, wow. So in case this wasn't enough, right, when we come back from break, we're going to talk about, what you do. I mean, what could we possibly do on the Mexican border that would have anything to do with Donald Trump? We're going to talk about that with Mary Mehelic when we get back after this incredibly interesting Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin. No hometown view today. Don't worry, Kevin Williams is okay. Don't call in. Don't check the class. Don't check the newspapers or anything. He just had an errand to run. Back after this.
The news never stops at WOBMAM.com. Get the latest from WOBM News, the Town Square, New Jersey News Network, and Fox News Radio. Wake up with Jeremy Grunin. News Talk Radio, WOBMAM 1160 and 1310. Live from the Jersey Shore to the world. Get up, get out, do something. Wake up with Jeremy Grunin. Take the show wherever you go. Download the free Radio Pup app for your smartphone or tablet. Join the conversation. 732-505-1160. News Talk Radio, WOBM AM 1160 and 1310. Listen online at WOBMAM.com.
Hey, welcome back. Wake up with Jeremy Grunin. 7:34 Friday, October 7th, 52 degrees, getting up to 70 today. WOBM AM 1160 and 1310 News Talk Radio. Streaming live on the Radio Pup app and WOBMAM.com. 732-505-1160 to join the conversation. We're joined in studio by artist Mary Mehelic. And okay, so we went through the whole Trump bust with the stripper pole. All right, we got that. So now tell me about the wall in Mexico.
Yeah, so we went down to the border of California with Mexico where there's an existing fence, and we decided we were going to build the first section of Donald Trump's wall and send the bill to the president of Mexico as a sculpture.
Right.
So the first project was to actually find land we could build the wall on. So we ended up randomly by chance in a little town called Jocumba Hot Springs, which happens to be owned basically 90% of the town by one person who's a nudist and has a nudist colony on the land in the town as well. With hot springs. So we didn't stay at the nudist colony. We stayed at the other hotel that he owns. And we found out that he owned the town. So we asked him if we could build an artwork about Donald Trump on his property right in front of the existing fence, which was 20 yards in front of the existing fence where the Border Patrol is. And he said, sure, we could. At the time, we didn't know he was actually voting for Trump. He's a Trumper, so he's a Trump supporter. But he was game for the art. So we built the first section of Donald Trump's wall. We built it out of about 10 feet high by 8 feet wide cinder blocks. In front of the cinder blocks, we kind of meshed in a collage of all of the materials like that would symbolize agriculture and the service industry. So rotting fruits and vegetables, some rakes, some landscaping stuff, some toilet bowl brushes, which symbolized what would happen if Donald Trump did deport 11 million Americans. And who would pick the berries, the fruits and berries and the flowers, and who would clean the hotel room. So it was kind of the statement about who's going to do all this work should 11 million Mexicans get deported.
So what kind of reaction have you gotten from that? I mean, is there has there been an uproar? Has there been, or has that been just kind of that's just been what it is? Well,
that art, have to realize that Jocumba Hot Springs is not a highly populated town.
Right.
And it's right there on the border.
Right.
I would say the town's population is a few hundred. It got a lot of press, and then it disappeared. So the wall's gone.
Oh, it's gone.
So we went down and we built a second wall. It didn't stop us. So we went back and we built a second Trump wall. This time we sent a request for protection for that wall to El Chapo. And this wall is a little different. This wall we made out of ladders and ropes and cinder blocks, the things that people might use to hop the existing fence. They call them jumpers, actually, down at the border. And when the Mexicans come over the fence, they make these hand-wrapped booties out of the Mexican blankets and twine so that when they land on this side of the fence, you can't follow their footprints. And then they dispose of the booties about 20 yards from the fence. So we found all these booties, and we incorporated them in the artwork. This artwork has text art on it. That's similar to an immigration form. So the U.S. side of the wall reads, "Were we nice? See or no?" And that references America's treatment of Mexico and South America throughout the ages. The Mexico-facing side of the wall just says, "Are you nice? See or no?" which references Trump's supposed vetting process and how he says he's going to let the good ones back in.
Right. Wow. Well, listen, it's incredibly interesting. and all on your website. If people want to kind of see more,
right?
Which we'll talk about. What's the website actually?
It's my name, MaryMehelicArtist.com. MaryMeHelic artist.com. All one word.
Very cool. And of course, so your art is on display at OCC,
right?
And Ocean County College at the I always hate saying the Grunin Center for the Arts, but I guess I really can't get around it. Yes, at the Grunin Center for the Arts at OCC. So you could see and that's really the Nigerian school. That's the Nigerian schoolgirl stuff.
Yeah, the kidnapped schoolgirls. It's a series of 53 artworks on paper. They're showing about 17 of them there.
Gotcha. And then you're going to be back in town in November to move or at the end of October to move the display over to Georgian Court University. And what are you going to be doing at Georgian Court?
This 2 months are really just a big festival of global education. So the artworks are going to be shown there, and I'll be speaking there about them as well.
Awesome. All right. So this is really interesting for me. So now we're going to give you the magic wand, the pixie dust, the fairy dust, the ability just to wiggle your nose and do something in the world. What would you do with it, Mary Mehelic?
I would make sure that all artists made art that made a statement about something they believe in.
That's cool. Yeah, I mean, certainly something you're doing, right? So again, so it would be so the website again. Give us the website again. You have a Facebook. What do you got? Okay,
MaryMehelicArtist.com, MaryMeHelic artist.com. My Twitter is Brooklyn Artist, BRKLYN Artist. So at Brooklyn Artist, and the bus Twitter is TRUT 2013 or TRUTartist.com.
TRUT.
TRUTT. That's based on Marcel Duchamp and the way he signed his famous urinal "Our Mutts." So that our leftist artist collective, which runs the bus, goes by the name TRUT.
Unbelievable. Mary Mehelic, thank you so much for spending some time with us this morning.
Thank
Incredibly
you, Jeremy.
Interesting, great work. And no matter how you feel politically, I mean, this is what makes our country great, is the ability to say what you want, and especially through the arts. Really great to be able to express it, and great to spend some time with you this morning.
Thank you.
Cool. Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin back after this.
Thanks.